Welcome to What Matters, a video podcast vlog in light of our current times, with a look inward at unique experiences, upward for divine direction, and outward at God's activity in the world. I'm Michelle Funk, your ministry host, and I'm so glad you're here. The What Matters podcast is usually an audio format, but with the order to stay home for the Kansas City metro area, we're trying something different. And we wanted to add video to some brief messages with women who are doing amazing things, even in the midst of this very uncertain and scary time. So this is a bit of a spinoff of our normal audio podcasts. We'll include some video via Zoom, like everyone else in the world is doing right now. In this video series of the What Matters podcast, we'll talk with guests for ideas of speaking life into this current crisis. And we invite you to chime in by adding comments to each of the episodes that we share with you. I want you to meet my friend, Howell. Day and her family are longtime members of our church, the United Methodist Church of the Resurrection. And I've known Day as a leader in multiple ministries over the years. She's a go-getter, a strong leader who doesn't allow obstacles to stop her in order to get important jobs done. So I want to welcome you and introduce you today. And thank you, Day, for just being here with us and sharing a little bit of your perspective about what to do even in the midst of way crazy uncertainty that might help others, and just by using our own special talents and gifts. So hi, Day, how are you?
I'm doing great, Michelle. Thanks.
Good. So in the midst of all of this, I understand you have gotten your hands busy and are meeting a need. Why don't you tell me a little bit about how you got started doing that?
Okay. Well, I even though it looks like I'm a go-getter and thought, oh, there's a need, let me go fill it. It didn't quite work out that way or start out that way. So a friend of mine from church, actually Melanie Coate, texted me and said, hey, can you make some masks for my husband because he's a nurse? So I'm like, okay, I can do that. And then a friend of mine that I work with is a speech pathologist at another hospital, and she said, hey, can you make me some masks? So I'll be honest, at first I was like, dang, I really wanted to do some quilting now that I'm stuck at home.
Right.
But, it happens. But considering obviously there's a need, I will say that I did research it a little bit because I was a little worried when people said do cloth masks. I'm thinking, is that really going to do any good? And I've heard a lot of people, social media, say that they weren't really sure that that was a great idea because they do harbor germs and stuff. So in case anybody's wondering, I did research on smartairfilters.com. So if you go to smartairfilters.com, they will tell you the proven tests that they've done that there really is some need in the 100% cotton masks. It doesn't do nearly as well as the N95, the good ones, but when used properly by medical personnel, then they know what they're doing. So anyway, with that, I made some masks for Melanie's husband, and then he said, that's great, I would like 200. So I'm like, okay. So I emailed my quilting group, Stitch'N Tyme, and said, hey, can you guys help out? And a bunch of them said, absolutely. So then there was a bunch more discussion about what's good to use and what technique and what pattern. And so they rallied. And so I'm picking up a bunch of masks from them this week. And then someone from the church called from the missions department and said, talked about making masks, and somebody gave them my name. I don't remember who, because they knew that we were doing that. And I recommended that they put the Johnson County Health Department website link up. Part of my fear is when people decide to go do a bunch of stuff, they don't check to see if it's really needed. So what I love about putting the link to Johnson County Health up is that they have specifically asked for masks and they've said what they need. And so that way anybody can help by doing that. Another volunteer at Resurrection got my number or my email and emailed that his mother, a pastor in Independence, wanted to make masks and wanted to know what to do and how to do it. So I told them I recommended to reach out to their local hospital, because then the hospital will tell them what they need, how many they need, and what it would look like. And then I gave them the same information about the air filters and that sort of stuff. So then another call from church saying that one of our senior living facilities that we partner with would like 50 masks. So
Wow. Wow.
I've just been mass producing masks.
Yes. Yeah. And so you dug in and did the research to figure out what is the right way to go about this, because I felt the same way. I was seeing all kinds of different varying perspectives on this, and reactions to this. Is it really helpful and whatnot? So I love that you dug in and figured out what is the best way. And you said 100% cotton material. Is that right?
That's what they
And
recommend.
yeah. And so in our community, we have Joann's Fabrics. And did you ever talk with them or look into that? As far as what I could see is they are offering they have obviously the material.
Right.
It's a normal thing for Joann's Fabrics to have that kind of material, but they maybe are specifying this type of elastic, for it to be able for the masks to be worn, and have a video example of a pattern and such. So did you find a pattern you could use, or did you just know how to?
No, I absolutely did not. And I was a
Yeah.
little nervous about it at first, I'll be honest, when Melanie texted and she's like, you can find a pattern online. And I froze for a second. And I'm like, well, you don't realize that there's probably 500 patterns online, and you don't really know what somebody is going to want. Luckily, her husband prefers not to have the elastic, that the
Okay.
ties. So I don't know if you can see me, but the um, a bias tape tie instead of an elastic, and that way you can adjust it to the size of the person's head. And
Okay.
right, so that's what worked for me. I didn't have any elastic anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel the need to go to Joann, because as a quilter, I have a ton of fabric.
Yeah. Right.
Most
Right.
of us that sew have a big stash that we can use up. And
Yeah.
when my mom passed away 6 years ago, I inherited a lot of fabric, and I still have some of it. So a lot of that novelty prints are going out, which is fun. Care Bears are good. So
Yeah. I saw your Facebook post, what'd you do? Like, I don't remember the number, this many Care Bear
right.
fabric masks are ready. Now moving on to what was the next pattern that
Well, I
you got
did
to?
Finding Nemo, and now I actually purchased some Olaf for a different project because it was on clearance. But
Uh-huh.
it's kind of fun to have silly characters.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Not that it really matters, because anything is good. If it's needed, then it doesn't matter. If somebody else wants to make masks, use whatever you have. But yeah,
Right.
elastic apparently is sold out everywhere. You
Okay.
can find elastic
Ah,
anywhere.
okay.
So using any type of a tie or ribbon or anything that's sturdy enough
Hmm.
works.
Oh, very good. Very good. And so how does it feel to be able to think that, we're able to actually do something might be helpful right now?
It is good, because when you're locked down,
Hmm.
so you're not allowed to go anywhere, you can't do anything, and there are other people that are like, oh, I'm gathering food, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So you do kind of feel like, dang, I should probably be doing something,
Hmm.
but I don't have a freezer full of food to share. So since I can sew masks.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I just love it that we can at least try and do the due diligence to figure out, is this the right thing, and will it really meet the need, and then reach out. It's another nice little sidebar to this, is that while we are currently at our homes and living through the whole social distancing thing, it gave you opportunity to touch base with some other people to say,
Right.
hey, are you interested in helping with this?
Mhm.
And so maybe that is a little, silver lining of of this particular way that you've chosen to kind of get into action to do something meaningful and include other people. So, and I'm sure there's been many that have said, absolutely on board, I'm doing it with you. And yeah, that's worked out. So in our community, you've talked with specific organizations and hospitals, but there is also the Johnson County Health Organization.
Right.
And that is located in Olathe. And our church website actually is listing that address for completed, finished sewn masks to be delivered. So,
Right.
okay. All right.
Yeah, because the nice thing about that is because they specifically have asked for it, then they're going to be able to distribute those to who needs them. So unless
Right.
you have a specific contact, I mean, I would hate to make a whole bunch of masks and donate them to a hospital that doesn't need nor want them.
Exactly.
Right. So then, at least with the Johnson County Health, they're going to distribute, and we can feel good about that.
Yeah. So did you finish the 200, the order of 200 for, is it Melanie Coates' husband? Is that who needed 200 of them?
Not yet. We're working on it still.
Okay. How long does it take to do just one?
I don't know because I assembly line it.
Uh-huh.
Put all the fabric first, and then you have to press it and create the pleats, and then sew it, and then put the bias tape on. And
Uh-huh.
it doesn't take a whole lot of time when you assembly line it, but I couldn't tell you. You know, I think I spent 2 evenings and I made 70.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
it also depends on how fast you sew. And my machine did not like the skinny bias tape, so I'm having some technical difficulties.
Yes. Yeah. But of course you would assembly line it. Of course you would, Day. That is what you do. Efficient. Yeah, we do this in an efficient manner. Thank you very much.
That's great.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you. Any other fun little stories that have come along with this? Have you? I love it that there's a bit of a story behind the actual fabric that you're using.
Yes.
I love it that you have talked with people that you know and are able to help with this. And I love it that you did the work of really kind of digging in and researching it and then connecting it for our church for a wider purpose. So,
Right.
yay.
I
Good
do
stuff.
worry about, and we've talked about this at our church before about helping because it's what we think is the right thing as opposed to what somebody really needs.
Right.
And so that is why I did look that up because the smart air filters, it does bother me when there's a lot of misinformation out on social media about what's good, what's not on lots of levels, on what's happening or who's saying this or how to wash that or whatever. And there's just a lot of stuff that's wrong and people don't research it. They redistribute the same information that's incorrect. And so you just don't know what to believe.
Right.
And a lot of people just believe everything. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
we definitely want to include in our notes the website you mentioned. So say it again.
it's smartairfilters.com.
Awesome. And then another resource is the church website. And so that's cor.org. And then you can also you can search on our church website, the DIY serve information, because again, these are express needs that have some backing to them that will actually make a difference. And there's instruction for it, you know, what to do exactly and where to deliver it and where it's going. And so, yes, let's be mindful of how we spread information, share information, and also how we put ourselves into action so that we're actually helping and not hurting. So, yeah, good advice. Good advice.
I got it from
Anything else? Yeah, got it from church. Yeah. Oh, that church, they teach us something every now and then, don't they?
Yep, no, that's all I got.
Awesome. Well done. Well done. Glad to talk with you. Glad
Yep.
to know you're doing well and your family. So hello to all and thanks for being a
Thanks.
part of this. Thanks, Day. All right. So one way that we can lend our gifts and talents to answer a need. And I'm just so grateful for Day's story and for her recommendations, which are absolutely spot on, to do this with great intention behind it and in a way that actually does make a difference. So thanks so much for joining us for this first ever video podcast of What Matters. The plan is we hope to release a new video every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And we want to just focus on what really matters right now during this time of great uncertainty. And so the hope is that it's an encouragement and a help to all of us. In our show notes below, there will be a link to our regular audio version of the What Matters podcast. If you're interested in listening, there's great episodes on there with far smarter people than myself and encouraging us of how to overcome fear. And we did a whole series on that. And then also, we've just begun a series on rising up as women of faith. And so there's some information on there and great episodes that you might take advantage of. And that's just at the website. It's ifl.core.org/whatmatters, and that will be listed in our notes as well. But we want to invite you to add your voice to the conversation. So please leave us a comment or give us a question and just chime in. We really want to try to serve as a way to connect even during this time. So some other things to note: our pastor is Reverend Adam Hamilton, and he is sharing a Tuesday night Vespers, like an evening devotion every week on his Facebook page. So you can visit that for just really a great few minutes of comfort on Tuesday evenings. And then, of course, our church will be offering online worship services on the weekends, and we'll put a link for all of those worship times. And coming up, actually, will be Palm Sunday. And our church is really working with our bishop, actually, to consider ways of making it possible for us to receive communion at home as we watch worship online. So I'm really grateful for our church for doing that. On Wednesday nights, we're still traveling through the journey of Lent. And so our adult discipleship team is offering online teaching with regard to The Walk, which is a book our Pastor Adam has written about the 5 essentials of the Christian faith. And so you can tune into that on Wednesday nights. So that's, I think, all I have for you. I'm Michelle Funk, your ministry host. So glad you've joined us, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.